Hi guys, my name is Gino and welcome to Sam and Gino Talk Money. So today I can't come up with an idea for a video. So I've thought, why don't I try to do a solo podcast and just talk about whatever comes to my mind. Most of my videos, I don't plan them anyway, I don't script them. So I figured why not start talking about different things that come to mind. So some things I've been thinking about this week. Firstly, hit the like button, hit the notification button. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if you like these kind of videos. You probably won't. I don't know if I'll. We'll see. Anyway, so one thing I've been thinking about. I remember I was in Ennis in County Clare about a year ago, and I got talking to someone, and they told me, and I don't know how true this is. I've been trying to Google it, and I can't find actually any truth behind it, but the theory makes sense. So they told me that in Ennis the rates are cheaper the further you get out of the town, which encourages then businesses to keep their shops open in the centre of town. And if you're in a small town in Ireland, for example Clonmel, out the window I'm looking out, town centre is dead and it's riddled with trouble, not a lot going on, a lot of closed down shops, and over the years a lot of businesses have moved out of town. So this was a topic I wanted to touch on, because if it's the case that the rates are too high, so for example there's one street in Clonmel that's just completely nothing on it except for Peter Mark hairdressers, because they own the building, and the rest of it's owned by one other company or person, and they won't do anything about it unless the county council change the rates, and the county council do have the power to do that. That's who sets the rates every year. So basically in Clonmel, if you're familiar with it, all the outside of the town has like a Tesco, Supermax, Super Value, KFC, the big main gym, Extreme Gym, is just outside Clonmel as well. But as you get into the centre of town, there's very little. There's a shopping centre on the way into town where you have Marks and Spencer's, TK Maxx, but even that place is dwindling away. Sorry, a bit of a cold. So what my theory is if this was like a reverse rate system and you were able to have all these major, or not even major businesses, but any businesses could afford to open in town, would that bring the crime rates lower in the centre of the town because there's less people hanging around? For example, if you move the main gym of the town into the centre of town, so if you're familiar with Clonmel, let's say where the old Duns is, that's been closed for years and years with nothing in it. If you put the gym in there, and then you that was open till 10:30 at night or whatever time it opened still, then there'd be activity around the centre of the town up until 10:30 at night, whereas now there's nothing, especially during the week when the pubs aren't busy and stuff like that. The whole town is just completely dead come 10 o'clock at night. And if you go to other countries, like if you're in Spain or Italy or England, like London or somewhere like that, the centre of the towns are not dead. They're bustling and they're busy all night. Now it doesn't always stop crime and stop trouble, but I definitely think if there was more people around, there'd be less trouble in the town centre. So that's one thing I've been thinking about. I don't know how. I do think, I can't remember who the person I spoke to in Ennis was, but they were from there. And basically, if you ever do go to Ennis, you will notice that the centre of the town has very few closed down shops and loads of like things going on. And I think Clonmel and other small towns are missing that, and it's killing the small town lifestyle in Ireland. So that's one thing I've been thinking about. The other thing that I've been thinking about a lot is like obviously loads of people are moving away. So I noticed today in my private story on Instagram that like over 20% of the people I have in my private story don't live in the country anymore. Most of them are in Australia, but some of them are in Vancouver, some of them are in England. And it's just like as more and more goes on and people keep on leaving, people coming back, and you often meet people like that are older than us that have come back. I'm 25 just for reference. But you have to wonder, what are they leaving for? So I think about this a lot. Like, are you leaving to make money? Are you leaving to extend your youth? Are you leaving to just see the world? Like the see the world one kind of bugs me a little bit, because a lot of people from Ireland, when they leave the country, they go on and they just move into a house with a lot of Irish people, which is fine. I understand, it's comforting. But then they just hang out with a lot of Irish people and they're not really doing anything. They're just in a different place. So I don't know if seeing the world is really it. And then if making money is really it either, okay, fair enough. In some countries, fair enough. I've got friends that moved to London to seriously high paying jobs and they're obviously making more money. I've got friends living in Dubai on very high paying jobs. They're obviously making more money. I don't have the same thing with Australia and Canada particularly, but it's more of an experience thing. So what are you really searching for? At what age do you stop trying to prolong your youth and you have to start thinking about, okay, I've got soon I'm going to have to buy houses. I'm going to have to choose where I want to live. I'm going to choose where I want to spend the rest of my life, or most of it. I'm going to have to, find a partner to spend the rest of my life with. I'm going to have to potentially have kids. Where do I want my kids raised? And all these things. And I'd love to know, and I'd love to hear from some of you guys, what are you really looking for when you leave? Like, if I'm thinking about leaving now at the moment, I'm going to want to leave for somewhere that has more opportunity to make money. That's where my head is. I wouldn't be leaving. Obviously, you want experiences, and I'm not just saying like your life is over 25, but there is a stage where you have to take a bit of responsibility for what you're doing and what you're going to plan on doing in the future. And I'd like to know more about what other people kind of think about that, and at what age you're kind of okay. So, for example, when you're in like a third year in school or third year in college and you go do your J1, that's purely experience based. It's not money based. You're not going to America for 3 months to try and make money to bring back home to your family or whatever. But when you're 25, 26, 27, if you're going to leave, you better be leaving for something a little bit more than just pushing out your youth and trying to get them last few years of freedom, because soon you'll be 30 and there comes a stage where you have to take responsibility. You can't afford to just move back in with your parents again. You're going to need to get a partner. You're going to need to start a family if that's what you're interested in. Obviously, everyone has different opinions on that. But I'd love to hear some more about that and what kind of way you think about it. It's just something that's been playing on my mind a lot recently, as I see a lot of people my age leaving. I'm kind of asking myself every time, what are they leaving for? Are they leaving for opportunity? Are they leaving for like opportunity to better their career, to increase their income? Are they leaving for experience? And everyone will have different opinions, and everyone will look at their age differently too. Don't get me wrong. I've been feeling like I've been wasting time since I'm 21. So I felt old at that age, whereas other people won't feel old until they're 35. So that is definitely something too. For example, Sam's a great example. Sam's gone purely for experience, and he's very clear with himself about that. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he's chosen that, and that's fine. But he's only done it for 1 year, and he's traveling the world. These people that go to like Canada or Australia or Dubai or wherever, and they're going, and they're not going to be saving any money, but they're just going for the 2 years, and then they plan on coming back. Like, is that the plan, just to come back, or is the plan to extend on to somewhere, do Australia for 2 years, do Canada for 2 years, you're 24, 25, 26, 27, and then settle in Ireland, or go to England, or maybe I'm just rambling on, and that's kind of the whole point of this video. I wanted to try like a little rambling video of kind of a podcast where I just talk about the things that I've been thinking about. So I definitely want to hear some of your guys' opinions on that. Why are you leaving? Why have your friends left? Why are you thinking of leaving? And what age do you think you need to start to take a bit of responsibility and make a bit more plans to really secure your future? Because I feel like our generation are staying younger a lot longer than the previous generations were. But maybe it's only because I'm in it. Maybe it's because I'm in it and I feel like I'm not progressing as quickly as I've seen people in the past. It's all perspective, I guess. So maybe even from older generations. I'm 25 years old, almost 26. Do you think I'm thinking too deep into it? Do you think my youth is still going to push on for another 5 years? Do you think my ring light just turned off? Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. Yeah, so do you think I'm just worrying about nothing? And do you think I should be looking to extend my youth on a few more years? So I'd love to hear that. So that's another thing. Okay, another topic I wanted to touch on, and it's just something to experience from work, and I know we've kind of got a lot of younger viewers, and it's something basically in my job. I'm a car salesman, and we organise finance for people, and whenever I have quite a young person in getting their first finance, there's no problem at all with it, to be honest. I got my first loan as soon as I could when I was 18 to build up credit history, and then when I went to get my mortgage then in the future, it was actually very easy for me to do, because I had built up a credit history, and I actually got that loan basically for nothing. Sorry, not for no interest, but I got it for no reason, only just to do this. And I think a car is definitely a good opportunity to build up your credit history. But I always say to especially the younger people, make sure you're paying this. Don't miss your payments. It's extremely important, because it is a serious pressure when you've got bad credit history for the future. And it's just something I wanted to touch on. I don't think we've ever really got into too much of a discussion on this channel, but it is really, really important to firstly have credit history, and secondly to make sure you keep a clean credit history. So in America they've got like credit ratings, and everyone knows their credit ratings, and it's extremely important to them. In Ireland it's a little bit different, and it's a bit taboo, and it's not really talked about. And I think a lot of the older generations does. Sorry if any of you are watching this, but some of like our parents and stuff like that may not have been as good as with their credit history as our generations may be, and we should learn from them. And I'm sure they'd tell you all the same thing. If you do have a loan, guys, make sure to pay it. If you've gotten overdrafted, avoid getting in it. Money management is extremely important, and I think people, even the generation below me, I find a lot of the messages we get on Instagram, and even our some of our viewers and stuff like that I've ever met, they're actually kind of younger than us, and they're so much more switched on than we ever were at their age. So it's a good sign to see. But people our age, keep in mind your credit history matters. I know I've got friends that took out personal or student loans when we were in college, and they're like, "Oh, we should no payment, doesn't matter," but it's so important. And when you go to get a mortgage in the future, or if you need a loan for something very important, or to start a business, or even just to buy a car, which is where most of my experience is with it, it can really affect you negatively if you haven't been paying off your loan. No matter how small the loan was, or no matter how many times you missed a payment, it's super important to keep on top of that. The other things then, I don't know, I'm kind of just winging it here, to be honest. This is a really winging it video. What have I been doing recently? Oh yeah, okay, so to try save a bit of money, something I've been doing recently is buying and selling my clothes on Depop. And it's been going pretty well, actually, to be honest. I probably sell like 2 or 3 items a week on Depop, and you don't really try. I'm not really sure. Their algorithm must be pretty good. But what I've been doing then, when I build up, let's say, €60 on my PayPal account, which is where Depop uses, I've just used that to buy. So I'm not trying to make my wardrobe smaller. I've got quite a few clothes, but I don't have a crazy amount of clothes. And I'm not selling clothes to make space. I'm selling clothes that's just stuff I don't wear. So it's kind of like I'm recycling it, I guess. And that might be a good tip for some of you. I'm sure loads of you have clothes out there you don't use anymore, that you don't wear anymore, that don't fit you anymore. Throw them up on Depop. You pay Depop 10%. Money goes into your PayPal account. And then what I've been doing is, with that money, I've just been buying new clothes. So a lot of my new clothes I bought recently, I think I haven't bought this on Depop, but a lot of my new clothes I've been buying recently have actually just been basically recycled from my old clothes through the money I've sold them for. So that's just another little money tip. And and then another thing. So another thing I want to talk about is changing jobs. And our generation are so good at this, but older generations aren't. And I was only actually talking to my dad about it recently. Just came up to someone he knows that was changing jobs after a long time, just for a wage increase. And he was saying, I changed jobs, not quite a few times, but I've changed jobs a few times as car sales. And I know a lot of my friends have changed jobs out of college, after 1 year and then after 2 years. It's the easiest way to get a promotion, especially in Ireland. It's the easiest way to get your money up is actually changing jobs and changing companies. And people think it's unloyal. The days of employment loyalty are well gone. And the sooner you realize that these companies that may not be that loyal to you, you'll realize that your loyalty does not need to lie with them. So a tip I would have for young people is not to be like constantly looking for jobs, but definitely keep an ear out, because one thing me and my friends do, we're very open about money. We're very open about how much money we make and how much money we're getting paid to do our jobs. So I feel like I've actually, because I've quite a few friends that are in quite different, very different fields, I've a nice idea on what different people should be making and what kind of money they're making. I've had friends, sorry, I'm kind of sick. I've had friends move jobs for the same job in a different company and go up €15,000 a year. And there's no way if you stayed in that company and just asked them for a raise of 15,000, you'd be able to even justify why you're worth €15,000 more. Sorry. So basically, the gist of what I'm thinking is, if you're moving around your job all the time, okay, let's just say you have to go to your new boss or your boss and say, look, I think I need to make €15,000 more a year. They're going to say, okay, that's interesting. How do you justify that? And no matter, unless you're extremely underpaid, it's going to be very hard to justify why you're worth an extra €15,000 a year. But if you're, let's say, working in IT and you say, oh yeah, okay, and you just apply to a new job, and then they say, you know, how much money you're making, and you tell them, you're like, look, I'm only, for the hassle of moving, I'll need an extra 10 grand or 15 grand a year. There's a high probability they will give that to you, because they're going to want, they're obviously need to fill a position, they're going to want someone with experience, and you're going to be a good candidate. Moving jobs is probably the easiest way to get your money up year on year, or every 2 years or so. So that's something I think a lot of our parents' generations didn't do. I'm sure a lot of your parents have been in the same job 20, 30, 40 years. Sometimes they go straight out of school into a job and then they retire out of the same job. I'm not saying they didn't make money, but it's so much easier nowadays to make money, especially now that like so many of your jobs you can work from home. You can work for a company in Galway and live in Kerry, or you can do anything like that. And it's just like, it's definitely something you should be thinking about. And something to keep an eye on is one of the easiest ways to get your money up. And yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. I don't know if this video is going to do any good. I just figured it was kind of a little idea, solo podcast kind of thing, just talking about what I've been thinking about during the week. My brain to be going 90 during the week, so it might be nice to just get some of these things off my chest, and to see, I'll see what comes of it. I'll see how this video goes, and I'll see whether I'll decide to do any more of them. So guys, if you liked the video, please do let me know. You can comment down below, hit the like button, whatever you want, and yeah, I'll talk to you in the next one. Cheers, bye bye.